7 o'clock on your Monday morning, Spokane police have blocked off several blocks in Brown's Addition for an overnight investigation. We'll take you live to the scene with what we know this morning.
And the snow has wound down for now. I'm going to let you know what that means for your morning commute and when the next round of snow arrives.
And we are ready to go.
Washington will get its first batch of coronavirus vaccines today and will be administered as soon as tomorrow. We'll tell you who's first in line and how this will all work.
And it's been more than a month since the 2020 election was called for Joe Biden, but today the Electoral College will meet to cast their ballots, one of the last steps in formalizing the election.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, if you haven't looked outside yet, the light overnight snow gifted us with a bit of a slick Monday morning commute. We want to thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning. Thank you for watching Up with KREM. I'm Joshua Robinson.
And I'm Dana Marie McNichol, and we do want to get over to Jeremy Legoo, who I think has some information for us where more snow is on the way, Jeremy.
Yeah, just for you though, Dana Marie. Everybody else, it's not going to happen. No, I'm kidding. It is going to happen, and it's going to happen for all of us as we head through the next day. We're waking up to a bit of it this morning. Expect a slick commute, and with snow in the forecast, I really think today is actually the commute that will have some of those biggest impacts. A few reasons. One, it's Monday morning. Two, fresh snow on the ground. And three, a lot of that snow is kind of just sticking around with temperatures down below freezing. We're at 30 right now in Spokane and right about there across much of the region. Snow winding down now. We're looking at a few lingering showers in higher elevations, and that's really going to be about it through a good chunk of the day. Notice some of that moisture sticks along the Cascade Crest and into North Idaho as we scoot through. And today we're looking at temperatures going from right around freezing this morning and just kind of hovering in the mid to low 30s. That's for a few reasons. One of those, the fresh snow on the ground. Another one is our warm weather hasn't arrived yet. And that sets the stage for what we see tomorrow, which is our next round of snow. And coming up, I'm going to break down when this round of snow arrives and how much you can expect on your Tuesday. But for now, with a look at those roads, got to toss things out to Nicole Hernandez. Nicole, how are they?
Jeremy, I wanted to show you guys the snow, so I ran back to my car to get my gloves because look at this. We got a good amount of little snow on the ground here right now. We are in Brown's Addition. And you can see just the difference. In some of the different spots, we do have no snow. On some spots, we have a good amount of snow in some areas as well. But the roads are going to be different depending on where you're waking up. So take a look. You can see this road here has been plowed, but there's still a nice little layer here on the roadway, still a little bit slick. Most of our main roads, though, are nice and clear for now. So those main arterials downtown headed up the South Hill. We heard from our producers that the South Hill is a little bit more rough than here downtown. So just be careful depending on where you're waking up and where you're headed. Of course, those slick conditions, so make sure you're going slow this morning. But hey, it's almost Christmas. We've got some snow on the ground. I think a lot of people can appreciate that. So make sure you're being careful on the roads, but of course try to enjoy it because it is nice and fluffy and kind of pretty today. I'll send these back to you guys.
I do think, Nicole, it's worth saying we appreciate you running back to your car and being breathless for that live hit. Thank you so for putting up that kind of effort for all of us this morning. Breaking news overnight, Spokane police blocked off multiple streets in Brown's Addition last night, and our crews on scene have said that police taped off a car that had blood on it. However, officers have not said yet what they are investigating. Forensics was on the scene a few hours ago, and police have cleared the area over the past hour. It is now open, but we will keep you updated as more information becomes available to us. Also, in other breaking news this morning, a critical care nurse has received the first authorized COVID vaccine in the United States. The president just tweeted about this a few minutes ago. According to the New York Times, the first person to receive a vaccine was at a Jewish medical center in Queens, New York.
I'm joyous to be able to say that the federal government has authorized the use of the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm thrilled that the Washington state has now done our review and are now authorizing the use of the vaccine, and we are ready to go.
The first ever COVID vaccine in the United States will arrive in Washington today as well. Governor Jay Inslee says shots could be administered as soon as tomorrow.
Healthcare workers and long-term care facility residents will be among the first to receive this vaccine in the state. Now, that's actually happening tomorrow.
Other people in the first round of recipients will include firefighter paramedics, ambulance drivers, and others who risk coming into direct contact with patients infected with COVID-19. The state will be receiving 62,400 doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, and the Department of Health says Washington will get 222,000 doses by the end of this month. And if the Moderna vaccine is approved, Washington could also receive another 180,000 doses this month. That's 400,000 total before the start of the new year.
According to the Spokane Regional Health District, the Spokane-County area will receive 3,900 COVID-19 vaccine doses. Right now, we don't know when the shipment will arrive or which healthcare providers will get the doses first. Chaz Healthcare, Providence, and Multicare have all confirmed they are enrolled in the state vaccine program, but they do not know how many doses they will receive. High-risk groups will have first priority. The rest of us won't have the opportunity to get that vaccine until later next year. Now, Idaho is also on track to receive at least 13,000 doses of the coronavirus vaccine. The first shipment is set to come out in the coming week. Idaho COVID-19 Vaccine Authority Committee recommends frontline healthcare workers caring for COVID-19 patients and long-term care facility residents be the first to receive that vaccine. The state expects to receive another 89,000 total vaccines in the second and third shipment.
The first boxes containing the coronavirus vaccine rolled out of Pfizer's Michigan plant just yesterday. We're going to take a look just in a moment at the UPS plane that took the first batch to Louisville, Kentucky, where Hannah Elby helped unload that shipment.
It feels like I can finally do something about these problems instead of just staying at home. It feels great.
Healthcare workers are expected to start receiving vaccinations today. Dr. Gabriel Boslett says he will get his on Wednesday.
I mean, it's our generation's man on the moon. And I think to think of it any other way is to do it a disservice.
Pfizer is planning to ship 2.9 million doses this week, and that hope comes amid the pandemic's darkest days with record hospitalizations and more than 2,000 deaths per day. The first shipments of the vaccine also arrived in Canada yesterday as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called it an important step in our fight against the virus. Now, during yesterday's press briefing, we also learned that the Moderna vaccine could be in Washington state as soon as December 21st if it gets FDA approval.
We are really excited about the potential for the Moderna vaccine. There's just less logistical barriers with the Moderna vaccine than with the Pfizer vaccine. And our initial allocation is much higher. It's 128,000 doses if that vaccine receives FDA authorization for the first week, that week of December 21st.
Michelle Roberts with the State Department of Health says the Moderna vaccine to be approved for distribution, it could happen in a week or two. And if it is approved, Washington could receive 180,000 doses of Moderna's vaccine by the end of the month. Meanwhile, President Trump says he is nixing plans for the White House to receive early coronavirus vaccines. His tweet came hours after his administration confirmed that senior officials, including some aides to Trump and Pence, would be offered shots as soon as this week. Now, this would reverse an administration directive to vaccinate top government officials against COVID-19. And in his tweet, the president said that White House workers should get the vaccine later unless specifically necessary. He also said that he's not scheduled to take the vaccine himself, but looks forward to doing so at the appropriate time.
And today, members of the Electoral College cast their ballots for president. It's one of the last steps in formalizing the election. Usually when the Electoral College meets, to cast the state's ballots for president, it's merely a formality, but this year it's different. President Trump is still refusing to concede, citing widespread voter fraud without evidence. And many in the Republican Party, as well as the President Trump supporters, are backing him, even though President-elect Joe Biden won both the Electoral College and the popular vote. Now, over the weekend, Trump supporters rallied around the country, most notably, though, in Washington, D.C. Now, the protests were mostly peaceful, though there were clashes with police and counter-protests. At this one on Saturday, 4 people were hospitalized with stab wounds and at least 33 people were arrested.
To other local businesses this week. Coming up, we'll tell you about the latest decision from Blissful. And if you decide to donate, we'll tell you where that money will go.
And the pandemic has only made the need for more affordable housing in Spokane greater. And now a local nonprofit group is working on building a brand new upscale apartment for low-income residents in our community. We'll have that information for you coming up in our 7:30 hour.